This one is called the pants. Take 8.
Hey!
Hello!
Welcome to The Funniest Thing.
Yes.
I'm Darrell.
And I'm Ed.
And today's episode is a short one called...
How to Pass Traffic School Fast.
That's right.
Yes.
We're going to help you avoid speed traps, potholes,
Yep.
speed bumps,
Yep.
radar detectors,
Mm-hmm.
everything with a simple spiritual solution to all your traffic problems.
You've come to the right place.
that we both practice as officers of New Thought.
That's exactly right.
So,
should we start with some breathing?
yes. Have you been drinking?
No. I am. Well,
Speaking of
which, we are going to breathe together 3 breathalyzers.
Instead of 3 breaths.
Yes, 3 breathalyzers is what we're going to do. Then this is also a great reminder when you're on the road.
That's true.
So, together, let's take a deep breath to clear it out.
Are you
Here
gonna
we
tell
go.
them what they are?
Let's do it together, shall we?
Well, what about a heads up?
A heads up.
So they know what they're going to be.
Yeah, smart. Okay. So today's breaths are, I am sober, and there's no need to panic.
That's a good reason not to panic.
Exactly.
Especially if you're really doing a breathalyzer
I
test.
know. So for today's breathalyzers, I am sober, and there's no need to panic.
Okay, you
So
ready?
here we go.
Yep.
I am sober, and there's no need to panic.
I am sober, and there's no need to panic.
I am sober, and there's no need to panic.
We do have sound effects.
We do. Here they are, somewhere here.
And
All right.
mentioning sound effects, that brings us back to letting everyone know
Yes.
that Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed really is not a YouTube show, although we do these fun segments.
Yes.
We really are a weekly radio broadcast live from Unity Village in Unity Village, Missouri. That airs every week. And you can catch it on unity.fm or download it from iTunes. Just search Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed.
Yes, because Unity Online Radio is really the home of this whole thing. And they have a lot of great programs other than ours.
That's true.
Yes, we use it ourselves to keep ourselves
And
in the flow of
and
on the road.
Speaking of saying on the road and a lot of good things, it reminds me of the Daily Word.
The Daily Word.
Which is one of the tools that both of us use. And we got a great reading from today.
Why don't we start with those readings?
Do you think those are more effective?
Talk about what we came here about traffic school and then end it with that, because that really
that's a good wind down.
Yeah, it's a good wind down.
Okay, we're going to actually jump right in
Yes.
with a reading from James Allen
Here, let me take a look at
called As a Man Thinketh.
this. This is
It's a
a
little
tiny
bright.
book.
Turn it.
To
Yeah, there you go.
everything turn.
And you
turn,
can get
turn.
this, you can find this on our Goodreads list at goodreads.com.
Search Darrell and Ed.
Yeah, it's very inexpensive. You get it for $2.50 on Amazon.
Darrell loves these kind of books and has showed me a lot of them, and I love them now as well.
And we're also going to do a quick reading from The Game of Life by Florence Scovel Shinn, which is also on our Goodreads list.
My son called her Florence Shovel.
Well, yeah, I used to do that for years until I took the H and put the C in the right places.
Yes.
All right, so this one's from James Allen, As a Man Thinketh. It's very simple. Circumstance does not make the man. It reveals him to himself.
Yes. You know, one thing I want to say, the reason this whole episode came up was because I drive my son to school every day. I just want to contextualize why we're calling this How to Pass Traffic School Fast. Because every day I drive my son to school, and every day it's the perfect litmus test for where my mind is at, right? Because on days when there's traffic and I am just completely frustrated by it, it gets worse. What I learned this week, when I stop thinking of the people in front of me as speed bumps and actually see that there are people on the road going in the same direction I'm going or wherever they're trying to get to, just like I am, and feel love toward them, what happens?
It opens up. But that goes along with what he says,
Yes.
because maybe the traffic increases
Yes.
because of I got to get my son to school.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about the solution, which isn't a game of life.
Well, one more thing about the "as a man thinketh" is that I was talking to Darrell before the show. Is I never used to like that quote because I heard it said the circumstances don't. What was it? Circumstances don't.
Circumstance does not make circumstances. The circumstance does not make the man, because you always hear circumstance
Yes.
makes the man. It doesn't. It reveals him to himself.
Yeah, and for me, just to clarify one thing, for me, it used to be like, oh no, this traffic's revealing this who I am to me. I must be, like I thought, oh man, if that's what it is, I'm worse off than I thought. But then today, after it sunk in, I realized it reveals to me my own thinking, my mental state at that moment.
Yeah, because we get what we believe at that moment, not
Yes.
what we want.
Yeah, what we're really believing inside.
And Florence puts it perfectly. And here's the good news. And the good news is all power is given man through right thinking to bring his heaven upon his earth. Mm-hmm. And if you want to have a fun experiment with new
Yes.
thought, the easiest way to have it revealed to you, if you're really practicing this and you're serious about it,
Yeah.
and you do your morning routine and you tune in, by doing your prayer and meditation
Yep,
throughout
yep.
your, in your day. When you're in traffic, the tendency for me is when I start getting frustrated and the traffic gets bigger and harder and I get angrier and more upset,
Yeah.
is because I go, okay, what's going on here? It's because it's fear. What am I afraid of? I'm panicked
Yes.
that I'm not going to get to where I'm supposed to get at a certain time, and I'm either going to be punished
Yeah.
or look foolish or miss a life-changing opportunity. I
Yeah.
turned it into all this. That's the underlying. But once I know the truth is, regardless of what I'm thinking in that direction,
Yeah.
if the truth is I can enjoy this moment right now, bless the situation, relax, and it happened just the other night. Ed brought up the story about driving his son to school.
Yes.
And noticing that.
Yeah, because that very day when it happened, it was like so simple, but I could see it so clearly. As soon as I started thinking loving thoughts about the people around me, I forgot about getting there on time. And all of a sudden, I looked up and there was no more traffic. I was flowing just quickly. So I told Darrell about that day.
And then later on that night, and I've experienced this, and me and a couple of my friends have talked about this for years, especially when we lived in New York City. We'd be like, it's amazing. As soon as you let go of those fears and go, okay,
Yes.
you know what? I'm powerless over this.
Right.
I'm going to get there right when I'm supposed to. And now the fear diminishes, and I'll tell myself things that help, like, if I'm there late, it'll be perfect timing. I'll bump into a person I'm supposed to see.
Yeah.
Or funniest thing, the appointment was rescheduled.
Right.
And it always ends up being true when I think this way.
Yes.
But the amazing thing is, when we think this way, traffic seems to open up
Yes.
miraculously. And we live in
Yes.
Los Angeles, and we see this, and it may sound crazy, but to us and to our friends who also apply this,
Yeah.
it works.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So that same day Ed told me this, I was going to meet Ed for dinner, and I was getting hungry. And, we get hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. It's like, argh. So I was going to meet Ed at downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland,
Yes.
where we broadcast from, to eat at a restaurant. And all of a sudden, it was rush hour, traffic's building, and I started feeling it. And then I remembered Ed telling me that story, and almost a part of my brain's going, hell with that. No, I got to get there. I'm going to call Ed, and I was going to call you and say, it looks like I'm going to be late. There's traffic's a madhouse. And then I remembered in the past when I used to work at Time Warner and traffic, I'd want to call and say, I'm going to be late for the shoot. And I remember, nope, I'm not going to call. I'm going to bless this. Why do I want to affirm that even harder and get the other person on the other end praying negatively with me? So I didn't. Sure enough, I get there and I get to where we're going to meet. And now there's no parking. I said, you know what? Let me just bless this situation. Mm-hmm. I go all the way around the block, and right next to the restaurant, you saw I was parked, Just then, a car's pulling out where there was
Always
no
works.
space. I was
Yes.
like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
And once again, reinforces what Florence Scovel Shinn and James Allen said.
Yes. You know, it is funny because you're talking about, James Allen was talking about revealing myself to myself. And one of the things I realized was underneath that feeling of rushing, there was this old belief like, for once, I've got to win. You know, I gotta win this thing. You know, I want to get there on time. And I was like, wow. I didn't realize that was like kind of some story that I never win, I don't catch breaks or something like that. Once I saw that, because that was turning into pushing harder, thinking insane thoughts. And the beauty was as soon as I started relaxing, just like you, I've had it many times, as soon as I relax and think to myself, this is a loving universe, that's when the guy pulls out perfectly. Like this thing is really a loving place that is supporting me. And it's amazing. And it's such a softer, more loving feeling.
Yeah, because that aggressive, fearful thinking makes everyone appear to be the enemy, and they're getting in my way. He's texting, for God's sake.
Yes.
Beep, beep.
Yes.
But when I go, no, we're all in this together, like you said.
Yeah.
We're all in this together. All of a sudden, and next thing you know, I even ease back in my seat.
Oh my gosh,
notice.
yes.
And I go, or if this is hard for you, another suggestion: put on one of those CDs that does affirmations.
Yeah, just put it on.
Put it on, and all of a sudden your mind will float into a better direction.
Yes, because I was thinking, I almost wanted, when we were talking about what breaths we were going to do, another idea for breaths was, those aren't jerks, those are people.
Or my friends.
Or they're my friends, exactly.
So I think it's time to close out with a very special reading. Just happens to be from today.
The Daily Word from today.
And the Daily Word.
The paper version right here.
Which you can get at dailyword.com.
Yeah, and I get the large print version because it's more like a children's book for me. Darrell gets the regular size.
Yes.
And I roll this up. Darrell keeps his with him. I keep mine in my car, in my pocket. And I highlight. That's a good thing. I read it once in the morning, then I highlight a few parts of it. And then through the day, all I got to do is go to the highlight parts just to get that extra booster shot. Yeah, so today is available. And the affirmation is, I am open and available to receive my good. An accident, a distressing diagnosis, a job loss, these are situations many of us would deem unfortunate or even disastrous. Yet, if we stay open and available to a good outcome, we find great blessings ready and waiting for us to receive. Today, I'm willing to see new possibilities unfold from any seeming difficulty. In acceptance of my humanity, I allow myself to grieve any loss as I clear inner space to receive my good. I am restored as I open to God's abundance. Life invites me to grow, and I am opened and available to the manifestation of God's abundant blessings at all times. As life unfolds, I look for the good in every experience.
Oh, that's great.
Then the Bible reading is, wait, my daughter, until you learn how the matter turns out. That's from Ruth 3:18.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Ruth was in the Bible.
Well, Baby Ruth.
Babe Ruth, yeah.
Well, Baby Ruth bars are my favorite.
Oh, they're delicious.
And they're actually named after a president's daughter, not after Babe Ruth, the sports figure. You can look that up online. It's a little funniest thing trivia.
That's good.
So with that being said,
how about we read a little piece of mail? Real quick?
We got mail.
Yeah.
Quick piece of mail.
A quick piece of mail from Sandy Page. Our pit bull, Gabby, the postal pit bull, took the day off. She was lounging on the beach today.
Yes.
So we'll just do this one on her own. She gave this one to me earlier in the day. And it's another one from Sandy Page, who's been giving us a lot of love lately. And it refers to one of our other videos. That's why I wanted to read this. It says, hey, great video. And she was referring to Pass the Bread, Here Comes the Baloney, which we just put out last week.
Yes.
It's so nice to know that people are able to not only call themselves on their own crap, but then laugh about it as well. I was at work tonight where I sometimes forget that not all people are able to do this. Yikes. As far as your video request, which was way cool, by the way, to let you know what past show Darrell talked about pies on, it was called Take Your Protein Pills and Put Your Helmet On, which aired on 9/18/13, September 18th, 2013. Funniest thing? It's Bowie's birthday today.
Yes, that is the funniest thing. She's referring to, like we mentioned, our podcast on iTunes or Unity.fm.
Yes.
And
we're
ready for...
Oh, yes.
the end of the show.
We are. And there's one more little tip to help you get through past traffic school fast.
Yes.
And when you're in that place of worry and anxiety, panic, just remember to stop in the name of love before you ruin your day. Think it over. Hasn't life been good to you? Think it over.
Well, anyway, thanks for tuning in to Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed. And look for us on iTunes. You could download our podcast, Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed. Also, follow us on Twitter, which is Darrell and Ed, one word. And find us on Facebook.
Like our fan page.
Our fan page, Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed. Send us your letters, emails, suggestions to funniestthing@unityonlineradio.org.
And thank you for being a part of Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed on YouTube and Unity Online Radio.